Hello, everyone. Seems like I've been gone for a god awful amount of time, but I am back. Well, I guess it's weird to say rested from moving, but yeah, I moved from Philly. So now I am in the lovely hot state of Florida, which we're actually expecting a tropical storm to roll through here. But you know what? No problem, because I'm here with you guys, ready to have such a great time. And I have missed you all so freaking much and can't wait to hang out with you and hang out with Fat Steven and, of course, hang out with our special guest, Mr. H Review. So speaking of co-hosts, how you doing, Fat Steven?
She's lying. She was saying how much she didn't want to see my face. She was tired of the fat jokes, the chicken nuggets. She was like, why can't you just shut up for 5 minutes? I've been gone 3 weeks and all you've said is nothing. This guy just keeps talking about fridge politics and cheesecake. Hi, Reina. I've missed you. You look very happy.
I missed you too.
Vibrant. Most women don't say that unless there's a restraining order in between us, but I take it.
Well, you do work for me, so that's
yeah. I work for nothing. That's the best part of the job.
You get chicken nuggets.
No, because now there's a P.O. box somewhere with 80 boxes of chicken nuggets trying to figure out what's going on.
Well, since I live in the South now, I will have to send you some banana pudding.
That works.
Yeah.
Something else to cry in the closet and videotape.
Banana pudding. I'll have to send you that.
But you're situated. You look happy and vibrant. It's like you had like a refresher. You look fantastic. And thank you for using the intro.
Thank you. No, the intro is hot. I flippin' love it. I absolutely love it. So it's great. I definitely do not have the skill to do that, so I like to subcontract that to people who can. So let's see who else is in the chat. First of all, there are 43 of you in here watching, so thank you so very much. Welcome back. Yes, my live streams are back. The after school special show is on and popping. Of course, where we hang out with guests doesn't quite fit with the schedule to meet with them during lunch, so we meet them after school. So let's see. Actually, let me acknowledge this first. Matt G, I did see your super chat for $1.99 with the suitcase up there. So thank you so very much for that. Very much for that.
Why are they spamming pirate flags?
Pirate flags?
All through your chat right now.
Pirate flags?
Yeah.
I know I have ancestors who were pirates.
They've risen from the dead at this point.
They were they were some serious freaking pirates. No, but seriously, Florida was founded on so many pirates. Well, you know who the mascot of the Tampa Bay football team is, right? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Oh,
pirates.
Thank God I didn't say Barbara Walters. That would have been funny.
Well, I don't think he's a pirate, but I'm pretty sure he could play one. Welcome to our guest, Mr. H Reviews. How are ya?
I was waving because I tweeted this out. So this is something which my subscribers do on my chats. They're the chat pirates, so that's why they're doing it.
I figured something.
I thought they were saying like we pirated something. I'm like, I didn't steal any content. It's all copyright free. What
it's just them sort of saying we're here. The H gang is here. Basically.
Oh, I would expected like is that a pirate flag or is that dressing gowns? Because I think
that's Vassie's attempt at a dressing gown.
Okay. I was gonna say I would expect for dressing gowns to be spammed. I would expect that.
But the sad part about that emoji, it's a better costume design than half the stuff we've seen on Discovery and
Oh dear.
Let's not talk about that.
We're not talking about it. We're citing it ever so slightly.
Let's not even mention it. It should be like Voldemort, that show that shall not be named. Name the show.
That's a lot of shows right now. It's like that. Voldemort at this point is his own conglomerate.
Yeah, just multiple streaming platforms. Just don't even mention them. That's
dumpster with a fireplace.
Like don't. It's like don't talk about that. Well, let's see. Let's welcome some folks in our chat. 56 of you guys are here, and our guest is Mr. H Reviews. So let me run through here real quick. Let's see. I see Golgo 13. Thank you so much for being a channel member. Says welcome back. Well, thank you. Feels like I've been gone forever. Oh my goodness. Snortopoopas Cuber, hello humans and other critters. Well, hello Snortopoopas, good to see you. Good to see you, my Pinellas County friend. I'm in Orange County, you're in Pinellas. Oh, that's like a joke for my Welcome to Florida show on Sunday nights where we start talking about all these Florida stories. And some counties have more stories that week than others. And Pinellas County usually has a lot of them, so we gotta keep track.
Jeez.
And hello, Andy McCallum says hi. Oh, hi to you. Vassie Reviews. There's no dressing gown emoji. We'll make do with coat. # gown gang. Absolutely. I like that. Laura 45. Good evening. Well, good evening to you. Of course, there's Keely Chow, Roll Tide. John Davies, dress gown for H. All right.
Oh, dear. Brilliant.
I love this. Your fans are awesome.
They're good. They're a good group. They're epic.
You guys are an awesome group. Let's see. Pat Stevens welcoming everyone. Welcome, chat and members. Of course. Hello there. Yeah, mobile. Yeah, if you're on the mobile version, sometimes
it's hard to do streaming when you're on a phone. Both as someone that is hosting a stream as well as watching one. It's not kitted out for it.
No, it's not. I did that from where did I do that from, Fat Steven? I did one from the Polynesian Resort at Disney World. That was crazy.
And Universal as well, I remember. And
on mobile. And you can't use their Wi-Fi at all. It's not. It's like a mess, and it's like it'll get stuck. And I'm like, okay, God, just wait a minute. I gotta refresh it. Hang on.
I gotta do something then. Is this appropriate then if I just change up my avatar and just hold on? And look there. Is that better? That's right. Is that better?
I like that.
Much better. You're fitting in. You're fitting in.
My SIM card is full now. Go drop my vape pen.
Hello, Mixed Blood. Yeah, YouTube is, I don't know why they do try to say they'll do notifications, but they don't. I've noticed a lot of them haven't been going out. Have people been telling you that too, Mr. H?
It's all the time. Like it's I think part of the only reason people know I'm streaming is just because it's a regular time on a regular day now. They never get sent out. You could schedule them for a few days and they still won't do it. They don't send notifications out. It's such nonsense. God,
it's a mess. Hey, Nikki, yes, shout out to Florida. Yes, I am back in this crazy state. So yeah, for people who don't know, my mother's side of the family, they've lived in this state since like 1565. So I'm kind of repatriating, so to speak. You're in a much better place. You look well rested and ready to rock. Yes, I am ready to rock. I have missed live streaming here with you guys, and I'm so glad that Mr. H is joining us. So speaking of that, let's go ahead and get started. So well, first of all, thank you. 52 people watching. I appreciate that. So please do hit that like button. That helps to pump up the recommendations for the videos and all of that. So let's see. First question we always ask everyone to start out with. So what are your memories of lunchtime at school?
My memories of lunchtime. Oh, wow. Ugh, I don't know. My memories of lunchtime at school. So I guess lunch might be a little bit different from sort of guys in the States versus guys in the UK. Not drastically. It's still lunch, obviously. But we don't have there's only certain schools, or back when I was growing up anyway, never had massive cafeterias and stuff like that. Canteens, whatever you call it. We never had massive ones of them. They're more quite low key. And so most people brought in a packed lunch. They'd bring in a packed lunch. And so you'd have quite small boxes. And I came in with a Coleman's cool box. It's like a beer cooler almost. But it's actually a lunch box which people take on building sites normally. But I used to take one to school because I've always eaten quite a lot of food. So there was massive Coleman's cool box thing. Whereas most people have got their tiny little. This will be for people in the UK. They'll go, "Oh my god, that's quite unusual." But so anyway, so that's one of the predominant memories, to be perfectly honest. Just this massive Coleman's box, and not I used to have quite interesting lunches, like pastas and stuff like that. Not again, sandwiches is what most kids in the UK would have. Just a sandwich, straight up sandwich. Canteens they're not the norm they are now, but they weren't. Weird lunches and a massive Coleman's.
Can I ask a question though, Mr. H? After you were done eating your lunch, did you write a review and send it back to your parents afterwards?
I should have done, shouldn't I? I'd be like,
there was not enough peanut butter with the jelly. The
salt.
spread was off.
too much salt today, but the consistency was good.
The
5 out of 10.
A little salty, but I could still eat the gherkin.
It's funny when I ask about that with lunch with what you call a canteen. Of course, we would call it lunchroom. They weren't really popular, I want to say, only until maybe the last 20 or 30 years.
Really?
Some areas where they really didn't have those. Like when my parents went to school, they didn't have one. Everyone just pretty much brought their lunches from home. So you had either my grandparents would call it a sack lunch. Instead of a box lunch, they call it a sack lunch because they would have it a brown paper bag, or they'd have it in a tote bag or something like that. That they would bring with them.
See, that's interesting. Maybe that's UK media then changing, sort of our perspective on it all then, because everything that's depicted, it's not even UK media, but I guess anything that's depicted in the States very much has these massive canteens, big canteens, high school. It's that sort of hubbub where people used to sort of, mingle and stuff like that. I don't know. That's the stereotype that I've got of US.
Some of them
high school.
Some of them did mostly. I want to say mostly in the Northeast, but in the cities, a lot of the kids did not have lunchrooms or canteens. They would either go out to get lunch. Because some friends of mine said, "Oh, we go to McDonald's for lunch." I'm like, "How'd you manage that?"
I just went home for lunch. I was close enough that I could just walk home, because I know, Reina, you were saying, or like other shows, you weren't able to leave the school property once you were there till the bell rang. We were allowed to go home for lunch if I think.
Yeah, see that's like it in the UK. It's very rare that kids can go home in the UK.
Well, running home to play as much Nintendo as you can during your lunch break, then coming back to school is pretty much any kid's objective at this
I
point.
went to school with a flask and a lunchbox. Were you a teacher? That's too funny. That's too funny.
Brilliant.
Gushers and Dunkaroos. Dunkaroos. That's a cookie, isn't it?
Yeah, it was an
I
icing
dunno.
treat.
So-
What it was a small plastic container, like when you have the Ritz with the peanut butter crackers, same type of thing, except you had icing, and I think it was long.
Oh,
no,
okay.
it was little kangaroo stickers or paws, and you would
Okay.
dip them in and
Ah.
get cavities.
And-
Great treat.
Well, this should be another interesting question. We always ask. Matt Siemens going to laugh at this. If you had pizza, was it square or round? Did you ever
Round.
bring? Did you ever, okay.
I win.
Oh, yeah, you win. Okay.
Well, no, because
Come on.
if it's at a canteen, no, because if it's at a canteen, they do it. They do the sort of rectangular squared pizzas to fit into the big trays, don't they? Actually,
That was
So-
us at school. They'd have it in like a big cookie
Yeah, it's
sheets.
yeah, the big trays, aren't they? Yeah, no. So
Mhm.
it would actually be rectangular, square, rectangular. It would have to be that because then they didn't really do. Yeah, no, it's square. It was square. But I never really. Again, I did. It's not something which we didn't really have big canteens specifically. So,
Hmm.
but yeah, I guess it. Yeah, would have been square. I
And
guess.
square. That
I
sounds
wonder
like
the
a
question.
square.
How long are lunch breaks in your country? In Denmark, it's usually 30 minutes.
Really?
Ours, it
That's quite
depends. I want to say between 20 and 30 minutes in the US. Sometimes
20 or
it was some
30?
weird time, like 25 minutes, because of how they would break up the classes during the school day.
I have,
But-
I have to Google this.
Yeah,
UK.
because I don't think it was ever more than 30 minutes for us. That's
Really?
why if you brought your lunch, you kind of had a head start because you didn't have to stand in the line to get your lunch.
Mine was an hour.
What? Oh no,
Oh,
they
well,
weren't letting us have an
It
hour.
had to be. We had an hour. Yeah, that's what I remember.
Well, I'm looking on Google right now, and they say 55 minutes is the average in the UK for lunch. 55 minutes. Which is like an
Really?
odd. Why don't you just do an hour? Like, why don't you just do it in an hour?
55 minutes. I think it's sometimes it's how they schedule the classes and they have the set amount of time and then
Yeah.
it finds up some weird freaking time.
Super.
So that's funny. 30 minutes because we had 2 lunches. We never had 30 minutes. We got an hour. God help you if you were late back. Yeah, if you had an hour for lunch, you really should be back on time.
But no, if you've got an hour for lunch, you got more time to sort of dilly dally and just forget and sort of relax into it a bit too much.
Mhm.
I can appreciate people, sort of arriving late when they've had too long to sort of relax into their lunch break.
Yeah, so sometimes you'd have Lebanese food at school. Wow, we never got that. It would have to be
Nice.
someone bringing that kind of food from home. Like I had some friends at school who were Filipino, so they would bring like lunch from home, and we thought that was the coolest freaking thing to see. So we're just like, yeah, our school lunch was kind of call it like continental stuff, like regular American food. Oh, go ahead, Betsy.
Sorry about that. Do you mind if I ask a question, Mr. H? Did you have like a
I
favorite?
do actually. No,
Oh,
do.
okay. I'm
Do
done.
that.
Y'all have a good day. I'm out.
Sorry. Yeah, I know. I said I'd turn up to the stream and all, but no questions. All right.
Oh, sorry. We'll just oogle you.
That's it.
I'll just breathe heavy into the mic for the next 20 minutes. Right? Oh, yeah.
Do some
You know-
ASMR. That's fine.
It's funny that you should mention that because I think the first time that I had quote unquote met you was on Midnight's Edge, and you were just an avatar. Usually when Midnight's Edge is on, I usually have my avatar on because I work from home. So either my face is not made up or I'm eating lunch and I don't want people watching me while I'm eating or whatever. So then I happened to go to your channel and I was watching a couple of videos and I saw one where you actually did a reveal of your face, and I guess it was from 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So I know when I first started, I did not show my face. So just kind of interesting what kind of made you start in the beginning not showing your face, and then what made you the decision to finally reveal what you look like?
Okay, so yeah, good question, really. So with respect to why I never showed my face was because I worked well when I worked in education, so I was a teacher.
Okay.
So I didn't really I didn't want to be I never wanted to be I at the time when I started I didn't want to be the face of the channel. And I wanted to maintain as much anonymity as possible. That's why I came up with the dumb name Mr. H Reviews. And sort of hid as much of my personal private life and kept it as private as possible, and that included my facial features and things like that. And then I also didn't really, because I did it because I started the channel literally just for a laugh. Like, I did it because I worked in education. I couldn't geek out with respect to movies and Alien and things like that with colleagues and things that you just can't like, oh, did you see that? How cool was that? Oh, people just go like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, oh, right, whatever. So
I have to I love Black Superwoman.
well, look,
I'm more
Brilliant.
terrified about how many panties you got sent, like a Neil Diamond concert to your PO box.
I've never been sent anything like that, actually. So
well, now they'll come.
Yeah.
Now they'll come.
Well, I need to set up a PO box for that, I guess. So basically, I wanted to remain, maintain as much anonymity as possible, and I just wanted the content to sell the channel, I guess, because I don't know really. It was like a hodgepodge of reasons, and then I actually. I said I would do a face reveal with just some sort of arbitrary number. Like I just said, oh, when I get to 100,000, whatever, because I never thought I would get there. So I was like, when I get to 100,000 subscribers, I'll do a face reveal, whatever. And I said it, threw it out there, and I said, yeah, whatever, I'll just do that then. And then I got to 100,000 subscribers. I was like, oh shit, like I've got to do it now. Like I've got a bit of man on my word. Damn it. And so basically, I just did that. I had to do it because I feel like it's important, if you say you're going to do something, that you do it. So at least your subscribers, know that you're a man of your word, and you're to be trusted. I guess it's important to be what you say you are, authentic and stuff like that. So so I did the face reveal, and then naturally from there. The type of content shifted and changed anyway, but that was a conscious decision, mainly because primarily I got started doing lots of alien lore and alien videos and Predator stuff, and I stuck with a lot of explained and lore videos and things like that. I've done a lot of narration, heavy narration. I've done dramatizations of comic books and stuff like this, and there's like a 32 episode Hellraiser series I did on my channel where I did loads of voice acting and all this kind of stuff. It comes to like 9 hours. It's an insanely long video, like, because I've compiled it into one long video. But then also, like, people have, when I started doing live streams and things like that, and people said, oh no, like, we do actually quite like to see some emoting and things like that, and to be a bit more presenting style. So that's why I now do a little bit more presenting, I guess.
When you actually said you were going to show your face, did you actually say your face, or did you say you were going to do a face reveal? Because technically you just showed anyone's face and actually kept going if you actually pulled that.
He's not pulling a fat Steve.
Oh, come on, man.
True, you are right there. I could have done that. I could have duped everyone.
Like,
I don't think I'd
got another 100K. What did I not think about this yet?
Oh dear. But yeah, so that's it really. I guess that's the sort of story of that.
Cool. So Alien lore, because I love Alien. Alien is one of those movies where I wasn't supposed to see it. My parents thought it was going to be too scary for me to see. And I was just I've never been so scared and fascinated at the same time. And the part that I walked in on was when dude was on the table and he's going into convulsions, and they couldn't figure out what the heck was wrong with him. And the alien just like pops out of his chest. I thought it was the coolest thing ever.
such a good scene. And they didn't. I don't think they. I think the trivia behind that is that they didn't tell anyone what was going to happen. So the genuine shock of and sort of surprise and disgust on people's faces is genuine. They were really like, oh my god, wow, what? They were, it's a very genuine reaction, which is madness, really. Like, I don't think you'd be allowed to do that in this day and age because actors would probably be like, oh, abuse.
Probably, but I think I had hold on one second. I know I had read like years later that was what happened, and the only people that knew, and I'm blanking on the actor's name, was the guy who had the alien in his chest and the SFX guys. No one knew because they wanted to capture. Yeah, and I did. God, it was freaking. I loved it.
Yeah, it's a great series. It's kind of fallen into obscurity now, unfortunately. But
may I ask a question kind of related to this? Do you think when Spaceballs came out and did the parody of it and it was like, oh no, not again? Do you think that diminished the actual horror aspect for people who saw Spaceballs in that scene first and they were then given into the first impression of Alien? Do you think it could have had an effect?
No, not enough. Not enough. I mean, I think like inevitably, if people have come into contact with a franchise first via like a form of a parody or something like that, it would diminish it somewhat, but not enough. You would have to be. It would have to be like an opening scene for you to be really, really that diminished by it. Like you'd have to parody an opening scene for you to go, oh, okay, this is the tone of the whole thing. Because the thing is that that scene is so far along into the film that you should be gripped with tension. By that point that that you're into it. You probably still acknowledge the parody that you first come into contact with, but I don't think it would be the same. Hopefully not. Anyway,
the second part is: do you think that people eventually who saw it after Spaceballs were kind of disappointed that it didn't break out into "Hello, my honey," "Hello, my
absolutely"? Come on now, yeah.
It would have been a whole lot better with a flamethrower.
I just know that whole scene. It's become like such a I want to say trope, but in a good way. Everyone knows what happens when it's just like alien bursting out of somebody's chest, or somebody looks into an egg and it's like, okay, it's gonna go and pop on its face, kind of like how they did in The Mandalorian. And I was really kind of upset that Baby Grogu did not get an alien to the face. I was actually quite upset about that. Oh, Christy asks, is there any behind the scenes footage of that taking place on the set of Alien?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure.
That is a good question.
It's almost kind of behind the scenes stuff that much now, I think. I don't know. Yeah. Were they doing a lot of behind the scenes stuff? That was a B movie at that point as well. So I don't know whether they would have invested that much in.
If they ever dig something like that up, man, that would be great to see.
I think there is one.
Or did they interview? Because I could have sworn they interviewed one of the actresses. Oh, one of the women. I forget her name right now. I just remember she had a whole lot of blood and alien crap that got splattered on her and everything. But I think she had actually spoken about how totally unprepared she was for that. And I can't remember where that interview was, Chris. I think it's out there somewhere.
I think there is behind the scenes for Alien, and it came from Ridley Scott's documentary called Eye of the Storm from 1992. I could be mistaken, but that's what I pulled up by doing a search right now. Because I'm not going to go behind the scenes with Alien Covenant because we don't talk about that.
Well, thank you, Ellie Moses, for $5 Australian. Thank you so very much. On behalf of all the H Pirates, we would like to give you a tiny percentage of our treasure. Trust me, we are loaded. And I see the money bag there. Loving the positive vibes. Pirate, flag, heart, and a duck. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. We love to have we love to have fun on this show and keep it light. So thank you so much. And I trust me, I need that pirate treasure because I have to do my studio all over.
Not gonna get paid.
I'll give you a nugget.
I don't want nuggets now. I want
What do you want?
cheesecake.
You want cheese? Okay.
Yeah, I need
A
cheesecake.
banana pudding. I think I'll send you both so
Oh,
you like
great.
those. Andy McCallum for £2. Thank you so very much. Love this stream. Sending positive vibes to you all. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. So glad. So glad you love that. Oh, here it is. Veronica Cartwright. That's her name.
Mhm.
Yes. She
Mm.
she just went. I freaking love that performance. You just have to see her face. Her face just absolutely said it all. Thank you, Darius Munchausen, for the $1.49. It is a sticker of popcorn. So thank you so very much for that. Love popcorn. And Nikki for $20. Thank you. Giving Ellie an assist here. LOL. Well, thank you. Shout out to the beautiful Reina, Florida neighbors. Yes, absolutely. Thank you. And so glad to be a neighbor of yours now. That's awesome. Yeah, Cabertano, he probably could.
All I'm seeing is that friend scene with Danny DeVito right now.
Oh Lord, that just
Dear.
well, folks, we have like okay, yeah, I'm gonna say there's 69 people watching. Thank you so very much. Mr. H Reviews is our guest, and of course, I see you do a lot of reviews about movies. So, what got you into, I guess, just focusing on film, doing film reviews, and what do you like about film so much?
Well, I mean, I was always going to be doing movie reviews on the channel anyway. It was always going to be, the intention was for it always to be quite a large part of the channel. It unfortunately took a massive step back because of, COVID. Like, there was nothing to review for a really long time. I did some indie movies here and there, but again, a lot of that, nothing really came out for a long time. So I'm getting back into it now, which is great. I enjoy talking about films. I like talking about films. I enjoy creating a forum for discourse. I'm never going to sit here and go, I'm 100% right, with my opinion, because it's not like an opinion. It's just an opinion. I only have a platform to give my opinion and for other people to come in and share theirs. And I enjoy that. It's nice. Like, it's interesting. Like, I did a review of that Fear Street Part 1, 1994 today. And in that, it's so interesting to see the divide between people, but also to note the geographic locations of what people's opinions are. So, like, it's a very American-centric outlook on the 90s with a horror lens, and it's very much like tropey parodying of Scream and Friday the 13th and all these kind of movies. But I mean, I personally didn't like it, right? But then asking the audience and asking anyone that's watching it is a great barometer for whether you're in tune, or whether you're in tune with the general public, or it's a geographic sort of disparity between places. So I said, I'm from the UK. It seemed pretty, US centric. Maybe it's me. Did you like it? If you did like it, where are you from? But it just seems to be pretty divisive, to be fair. So it's not a geographic location, that one. But I just like it. I like talking about films. I like film. I like how film can be something. It's common ground, isn't it? It's common ground. It transcends any tribalistic mentality that you have. You can have opinions on anything. In terms, like, again, not to bring politics into it, but it's a quick one to say tribalistic mentality. So you could have polar opposites on that spectrum, but you could both be a fan of Alien, right? And that's nice. It's nice to have this common ground. And I think, unfortunately, nowadays we're losing films that create that common ground. I think there are few films that have that common ground status because they are becoming more tribalistic with their outlook. But yeah, no, I just like films. I like the filmmaking is an art form. There's so many intricate elements to filmmaking, which, the more and more films you watch, the more and more you appreciate it as well. And the more and more you look at it on a technical aspect, like I went back and watched Drive, the other day, and that film's 10 years old, and it's such good. I remember watching it when it came out, and I was like, this film's amazing. But I watched it again, and I was just like, no, it's not just amazing. Like, this film is an absolute masterpiece of cinema. Like, every single frame of that film could be a poster. The cinematography is just, it's divine. Like, it's absolutely incredible. And then there's subtle things that maybe you wouldn't have noticed because you didn't quite pick up on lighting before, like he's in the elevator, for instance, and he pulls a woman into him, like Ryan Gosling, the kid is, I think, or the driver, his name is in the film. He doesn't actually get a name, but he pulls a woman into him, and the lighting completely changes. But then he turns and then goes to lay into a man, and the lighting changes again. And it's just this, the more and more you look at films, the more and more you sort of notice these things. And I just think film's great. Basically, film's great.
Do you mind if I ask a quick question, though? Kind of earlier, you were saying, do you think the way that the films now are being pushed and shown and delivered messages, do you think in a way it's a way of taking away the viewers, the people who enjoy films, like the way you enjoy films? They're taking away that common ground to prevent discussion and comparison, to actually get along with thy neighbor, to get along with the person across the street, and actually have the ability to not only respect whether they like it or dislike it, but still be on a level of respect.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know whether there's anything that deep into it. I think film and film studios, generally speaking, they follow trends. Currently, what is the whole world in? Incredibly tribalistic state. That's just the unfortunate nature of the current state, the landscape of the Western world, because it's not anywhere else. It is just the Western world. We are some of the most well off yet sort of first world problems place in the world, and we scratch one another for absolute nonsense these days. So I think by and large, I would imagine it's just studios following trends, because when you speak to some of these people, it's mainly because they believe that they have to, like they think that they have to, and some of the producers involved in it think that they have to do these things because that's how they're going to make money. And that's all it is. Like, it's just a business. I don't know whether there's anything deeper into it. Like, I've got a friend who has just got he hasn't just got it. He's had the rights for the TV rights to a very popular board game, tabletop RPG game, Scions. Pretty damn popular, and also some other thing. I keep forgetting the name of it. And one of the things he said to the people who have the IP, who own the IP, was like, we're not going to be doing this. We're not going to be looking at this. We'll be looking at things quite apolitical, and that's how we want to do it. If someone is a lesbian in the series, for instance, they're a lesbian because it serves a story, not a lesbian because we have to put one in. Or and I think that's the right approach to take. But I think that there's not many producers which have the balls to do that, and I think that's a shame.
And I think I know what. Sorry if I seem to interrupt you, but that's one of the things that I love about film. Before this whole, we have to do representation for the sake of representation. Get us invested in the character first, because once we're invested in the character, it doesn't matter what.
Everything else is superfluous, isn't it?
It's superfluous. It's like
and those things become more likable and more accepted. Like the thing is people go nowadays. Producers go, right, well, we need to, and it is a checkbox. It genuinely is. It's we need to check this box, this box, this box. So write a character that has these things, but that's not writing a character. You're writing a character which must hit these certain checkboxes of
inclusion,
representation, I guess. But you're not first and foremost. You're not crafting a character. You're not crafting a person. People are not defined by, some people are, and more nowadays, of course they are. But those checkboxes in normal, average day-to-day life are not what defines the average person. You're not going to walk around, and say, well, generally speaking, you're just not going to walk around going, yep, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, I'm that. This is who I am. Like, that's not what defines people. Character is not intrinsic to those kind of things. Generally speaking, again, it is more and more nowadays. But yeah, so I think that's the other side of it, isn't it? They haven't they're focusing less and less on developing good core characters and then having those traits as part of the narrative, which then make them more likable, more accepted. Like, I think I was saying on my stream yesterday with Andre, I was like, if you showed Terminator 2, for instance, to some 16, 17-year-old that has been rallying against the woke culture for a very, very long time, right? Like you show them that film, they would look at Sarah Connor and go, she's woke. This is a woke film. They would say, because there's that speech that she's a strong female. Nothing wrong with a strong female. It's a fantastic film. She's one of the best strong females of all time. But if you're so primed and hopped on it, you look at that and you go, right, that's absolutely woke. She's strong. She's doing chin-ups. There's a monologue towards the end of the film where she talks about men and the inability to procreate, therefore they just want to destroy because they can't create and all this kind of stuff. It's just a sorry state of the world. But that's a great character, and that whole narrative and how she was built into that kind of character, it serves the story. It's a well-crafted character, and all those things are very likable. You don't sit there and think of those things when you're watching the film because you go, well, that makes sense. It makes sense to what she's been through. Of course, she's going to say these things.
Exactly, considering everything that she's gone through and all that craziness that happens. You're just like nodding, like, yeah,
of course.
It makes perfect
it's the same
sense.
as Ripley from Alien to Alien. So of course she's going to turn into a badass. Of course she's going to deal with all of these things. Of course.
Exactly. We have a couple super chats I want to get to before we continue. You guys have been so generous. 76 of you guys in here. Thank you so much. Please hit that like button. Bassy reviews for €5. Some more foreign currency, actually, that I have. Positive vibes to everyone. So we have hearts and #gown gang. I love it. Thank you so very much. Appreciate that. And let's see. And we have John Davies for £5. Thank you. Well, seeing as everyone else is doing it, and I don't want to appear cheap, #dressgown gang and all the ducks, all the positivity duckies and the pirate flags. Interesting. I don't have any ducks where I live, but apparently I have these cranes, which are like these white birds that are like that tall. And apparently they come after you thinking you have food or something.
Really?
There's all kinds of weird creatures here in the swamp.
Florida.
I have lizards that are outside. They just scramble all over the place, and just, it's really, really weird. That's one of the things I like about being here.
I was sorry. I didn't. You have more super chats, right?
Oh no! I think that. Wait. Am I? Yeah, I think I have them all. Yep, I have them all. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Mr. H, do you think also the way things are going? Let's go back to something when the lockdown started with 2020 until now. Do you think I know woke culture and like SJW culture has been around quite a little bit longer, but do you think it's come to the point now where people who are so focused on it, whether against it or for it, that their brains have been trained in such a way to always look for it first rather than enjoy the property, and it takes them out of the whole point of enjoying a film because they're automatically 100%. Looking for the negatives or the positives.
Absolutely, 100%. I mean, that's the same with that film, The Tomorrow War, for instance, right? Like, there's so many people like that film has seemingly not pleased anyone, right? Because I loved it. Like, it's a divisive film. Load of people absolutely love it, and I'm on that. I absolutely love that film. I thought it was very, very good, very well made. But then there's so many people, like you said, that are primed looking for these kind of things. They're primed, set, ready to go. And I get it. Like, I get why they are. I understand. But unfortunately, it blinkers you to a wider view of the situation. And like that film, for instance, like a lot of people's points that they were making were like, well, there's a white lead, therefore everyone else is black in it. And I'm like, well, that's fine. It doesn't really matter anyway. But then that's not even the case, because there's a whole, I mean, again, if you watch the film, that's just simply not the case anyway. But then there's literally dialogue, which I'm surprised made it past the approval side of it, because there's a black lady that's bold, right? Who is sat, far, the scene, sat far, far down, and she's flipping them off. And one of the guys goes, I can't remember the actor's name, but the comedic element to the film goes to Chris Pratt. Oh, he's flipping us off, and Chris Pratt goes, no, that's a she. And he goes, oh, whoa. And like, and you're not allowed to do that in this day. Like, if you were really trying to pander to, that sort of side of things, if this is what people were claiming it was, which was, it's woke and this, blah, 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 you wouldn't have had that dialogue in there. You just wouldn't. But again, that's going to that perspective of people really primed, set, ready to go, just looking for the worst of the worst. And I think that's a shame because, again, like, if you're going to look for it, you'll find it anywhere. Like, it's just confirmation bias, isn't it? But then you're going to miss that very funny joke that I'm surprised made it past, the approval. Like, how did that get in there?
What did you think of the enlisted Chef Boyardee?
Say that again. What?
The enlisted Chef Boyardee.
The enlisted
dude that was the chef. It was like in the white coat. He had the chef hat, and then he was wearing the Kevlar armor when they were waiting to go for their first jump. You don't remember that?
Oh, I don't remember that.
It was they were like looking at Chef Boyardee going to save humanity in the future. It was great. I'm like, all I want is ravioli now. What is going on?
All right,
pasta.
I have to see this movie.
It's good. It's good.
Like I said, I kept seeing. Well, I like Chris Pratt anyway, so I was going to see it mainly, just to see Chris Pratt. But yeah, I saw like your impressions of it. Heard like good things kind of through the grapevine because, like you said in one of your videos, the marketing wasn't very good.
It was terrible. That trailer was awful. I watched that trailer and I was like, I wasn't expecting it to be the best. And then that, it's not the best movie ever. Like, it's not. But is it a good, fun summer blockbuster? Yeah, like it's a good movie. It's a good way to spend 2 hours, 20 minutes. It's a good movie for 2 hours, 20 minutes.
Do you think they may have done that on purpose?
Yeah. It's Amazon. They're sneaky.
Making the trailer so bad.
See, I don't know because the thing is they bought that off of Paramount for $200 million. And Paramount, I don't understand why Paramount sold it to them anyway, because Paramount would be doing their Paramount Plus. They could have put it on Paramount Plus, but I'm guessing they just wanted some money for it.
They could have, because if I'm not mistaken, I think Paramount also did Coming to America too, which was garbage, and they sold that to Amazon. That was a movie that should not have freaking been made in the first place. Yes, it was. That's interesting.
I had a random question though. You've done enough reviews over the time. Sorry, ravioli in my throat. Bad jokes again. What was pretty much your favorite either review to either take apart? Like, what was your most favorite in general that you even though it got either the most hate or the most love, what was your most favorite one you have ever done that you're like most proud of, even if you hated the movie itself?
So I'm not proud of it, but I'm proud of it, but in a funny way. So like I tore apart The Last Jedi. I did a review of it. And then I did a live stream, which was like called Group Therapy or something like that. And just sat in there ranting my ass off about this film. Like, this film's absolutely atrocious. It's like the worst thing ever. So bad. So I'm like, those are funny. Like I enjoyed those. I'm very proud of my, actually proud of my Under the Skin review. I was very happy with that one. I actually used that as my. So I'm an accredited member of the press for Sundance festivals.
Oh, okay.
And so I've been to Sundance festivals a few times, and I used that. They need you to submit work to become an accredited member of the press. Mm-hmm. So I made that review specifically to submit to Sundance to showcase what I believed at the time. I haven't rewatched it, so it could be a really bad review now, but I remember at the time I really enjoyed that review, and I thought it was a good review, and I submitted that as to sort of showcase my reviewing ability, I guess. And it worked. It got me accredited member of the press, so so I'm proud of that one. And just any of the Mr. Hate reviews. So I did these kind of comedic based reviews where I just tore films apart. Mm-hmm. And I called them Mr. Hate reviews. I just stopped doing them though because they they always got copyright blocked, and they always got demonetized. And I was like, I can't spend literally 2 days worth of editing, because and that's not just writing, because they were specifically scripted and comedically based reviews. I just couldn't do that for nothing. Like, it was just ridiculous. I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. So yeah, but I like the Mr. Hate reviews, and specifically the Aliens versus Predator Requiem one is pretty good. AVP2, that's a very funny review. People still really like that. So
I can't bring myself to watch that.
It doesn't matter, because you can't see anything. It's all fucking pitch black, so it doesn't matter. They haven't turned the exposure up. It's fine. Even if you do want to watch it, you can't watch it. So no worries.
Oh my gosh. Oh, hold on a second, Betsy. But Miss Zen, thank you so much for the $1 super chat. I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Have you put your fingers into the Long Halloween yet?
Oh, Long Halloween Part 1?
Yes.
Yeah, I liked it. Oh, it was good.
And the second one got pushed up to July, I believe, or August. It's coming out, the second part.
Oh, really? Oh, that's a shame. That's a shame.
Because it would be better for October. But it's also exciting because they're planning, I think, a lot more of the whole series itself.
Oh, good. I thought that was a really... I've never read the comic. But I really liked that. And I thought it was a nice throwback to the original Batman, the animated series. It looked very similar. I thought they did a really good job with that. But it was really, really good. They loved their hard line work, especially on the characters. And they're like, Calendar Man especially was fantastic. It was like looking at Arkham in a way too, but animated, and I loved it. It was really, really well done. I genuinely liked that. I had a good time with it. And like I had it on a screener, which was only like, I don't know, 720p or something like that. But no, even less. I think it was even less. They don't give screeners very good quality for them. I think it was even less than that. But it's so good. So good. The voice acting was great as well. And again, I don't know what's supposed to happen. I'm genuinely like, oh wow, what's going to happen next? It's good.
Now we should watch Mortal Kombat Annihilation right now, all together, and see what happens.
No,
Yes.
that does not exist.
It does exist. It exists for one reason: to poop on it. That's the only reason why it exists. The soundtrack is the only thing that saves that movie.
Why do I see Triumph the Insult Comic Dog saying that right now? Need to poop on. That's
Get my poop stick. I'm going in.
That might actually. I don't think it's worth him actually pooping on it. Honestly, it's somewhere else. But something that I did happen to catch over the weekend that some people were talking about, and Mr. Rich, you talked about as well, was the new trailer for He-Man Revelation. Maybe this is just me, and I did used to watch the He-Man cartoons back in the day. Didn't watch in the movies, but mostly watched the cartoons. I don't remember Teela Bree being in the forefront so much. At all. She was just kind of, there. She had her place to do stuff with, to be there, kind of the support ensemble cast. But if I look at the trailer for Revelation, that looks to me like it's the Teela show.
Well, she was a very important character in the original, because she's princess, isn't she? So she is still a very important character. In the original, you are right though. Like, absolutely, she does seem to be much more front and center. But I think that's because, I mean, look, inevitably, like Kevin Smith could have Kevin Smith this 100%. But from what it looks like she's front and center.
She is
because of the revelation that she finds out He-Man is Prince Adam. And then from there, who knows what's supposed to happen? Like, obviously, people have speculated and things like this.
But even the trailer was kind of messed up, because she was like, I've spent my whole life being against magic. And then the whole thing is like trying to, from my understanding, is saving Eternia with using magic. So it's like making her a reluctant, angry hero with the Karen haircut, like by the time the show ends. I'm sorry about the Karen haircut. Well, I have the synopsis for you. It actually came from Netflix, and it's literally, they don't mention He-Man once.
I'm sorry, Prismatics. I'm laughing because that's the first thing that I said when I heard about this. I'm like, oh my God, it's He-Man. It's like, okay, if it was something where Teela stumbles onto something and it's like a essential to the plot, wouldn't you want to keep that under wraps and not bring it out in the open, to begin with, and cut the trailer as if Tila is central to everything? Even if she is, why would you reveal that in the trailer?
Well, again, it could still be a bait. Like, it could still be a bait and switch, even from that perspective. I'm not saying it is, and is there lots of evidence pointing to it being a Tila show? Yeah, like 100%. But I do think people have got out of hand with respect to what they've been saying about it as well. So, like the haircut, for instance, I take that on board. Like, the haircut is a stereotypical Karen haircut, right? Like, I get
Yes,
that.
it is.
But people have been, and I spoke to Andre about this last night on stream, because even he said it, and I turned him around on it because everyone else was saying it in the chat as well. Is everyone has a problem with how big she is, right? And I'm like, no, stop, because everyone else is absolutely massive by comparison, right? You look at the original He-Man from the original He-Man cartoon. He's tiny. He's tiny. Now, look at him. He's been juicing for like 100 years.
Out, isn't he?
So, it's the Barry Bonds diet.
They have literally sized everyone up. Everyone has been sized up. You know, and I think people do a disservice to their own argument when they're like, oh yeah, but she's stacked, and that makes it bad. It's like, no, everyone's stacked. Shut up. Like, everyone.
I didn't. It's like that really didn't bother me at all with her body proportions. That didn't really bother me.
Oh, that's really riled a lot of people up. Genuinely,
really. I know there's two things that I was annoyed at. One was the Karen haircut, because they could have done a much nicer short haircut for her, or just what was wrong with her hair that she had in the original series anyway.
Well, they did show it, didn't they? They showed that as well as the hair down and things like this. So I don't know. I mean, it's I wish they kind of would have just made like a little bit of an update to that. But her body size isn't what bothered me. What bothered me the most about it was there's one shot of her, I guess, in armor, and she's as flat as a freaking board.
Yeah.
I have issues with that.
I
want to see boob armor.
Well, breasts are magic, right? So it's a known fact. Breasts are magic, and she hates magic. So what they did is they just hid it behind armor that's not magical. But there was another thing too. It's just, I think a lot of people also who are also within this whole like collective or community or family, whatever you want to call it, when it comes to like fandoms and like He-Man or whatever it is, right? Let's go back and maybe see the relation, maybe the scarring when it came to Last of Us 2. And maybe that's why people still have like an after effect from that and how they did with Abby and all that stuff. So they're kind of seeing the same kind of maybe a faint glimmer in this as well as all the Kevin Smith tiers of lies and BS. But the animation looks great, and I don't see how they can go half. I'm hoping that the animation will stand up to the story, and I'm really hoping it's not her just throwing down her crown and becoming a reluctant, angry woman. She was a good hero. She was a feminine role model for a lot of people in the 80s who were watching He-Man. She-Ra too. And the body mass.
Oh, don't get me started with She-Ra, because
no, I'm not talking about Netflix She-Ra. That doesn't exist.
Okay,
that's like Voldemort.
Okay,
I don't watch that. I don't watch that.
I'm really not trying to have my head spin around and vomit, me start yelling curses for what Netflix did to She-Ra, because the She-Ra cartoons, like, I love that. I watched He-Man. I enjoyed watching He-Man. She-Ra was my cartoon to watch, but it's like exactly like you were saying, the animation for it looks great. I mean, He-Man looks super roided out, but I'll allow that. But it's just it's what this is how this is going to turn out. I mean, I'm going to watch it because I want an informed opinion, about it, because I don't like to throw shade on stuff like I really want to if I haven't watched it. But if they do this, if they go down this path where it's all around Tila, I don't see how that's going to go over well unless there's a really good reason.
Oh no, like it won't. The thing is as well, like I mean, because I was saying, I was speaking to Andre about it as well. I was like, it doesn't matter if you say narratively, I don't know, like, again, just for whatever reason, you have He-Man disappear. There's some reason why he disappears, right? And then you have Tila be the point of view character, and the narrative is all about getting He-Man back. that's still a compelling story, which is actually centered on He-Man, but you're only using Teela as the point of view character to tell the story, which is centered on He-Man. So it's dependent how they do it, isn't it? Like currently you're looking at it and you're like, okay, well, it looks very narratively centric to Teela.
Yes.
But we don't know if that's the case. Teela might be the point of view character. You only know this when you've watched it. We just don't know at this point. It's all kind of guessing games, isn't it? But if they did that, I mean, there'll be so many people annoyed anyway. But again, that's
coming from He-Man myself right now. I'm just gonna go in with no expectations, like the power of Grayskull. Cringer, where are you?
Cringer.
I love you, Cringer. Come here, kitty.
Like Superwoman says, I watch He-Man for He-Man and She-Ra for She-Ra. Stop giving me sidekick. That's like having Batman and it's all about Robin. WTF? You know, if they do a bait and switch, like they make the trailer look like it's all Teela centric, and like you were saying, Mr. H, if they make it like it's being told from her point of view, then okay. But it's like if they wanted to, if that was what they were going for, and let's just say, guessing that that's what they're going for. I really wish that the trailer that I saw had been cut to kind of emphasize that more, because if you're talking from a point of view, you can still be talking about everything that's happening around that central character.
100%. But then maybe that could have, again, I'm just playing devil's advocate, but maybe that would have revealed too much of the storyline. It's difficult to say, isn't it? At this point, it's all speculation. And there's two, playing devil's advocate, and then there's just looking at it from what it looks like. But I do think as well that the first trailer was amazing. Like, that's an amazing trailer. So good. Amazing trailer. But that was very He-Man centric.
I still think there's hope though, because the way I watched the whatever trailer came out not too long ago, and it's showing how she's throwing her tiara down or her crown down and saying how she's fought against magic the whole time. There is a precedence for an actual good story there if they're actually to go about the fact that this is going to be her. This is the reluctant hero story. She has to go and use a power which she has been fighting against. She has to eventually understand and accept it that this is the only way to save Eternia, or she's probably going to find her own way with the use of it. But it doesn't mean she has to accept it and use it for the rest of her life. There is a storyline that has, there is a hope there. But again, putting hope in something when we've been having nothing but, I'd rather buy a slap chop at this point. It's hard. It's really hard to put hope or expectations in things. So from my point of view, sorry to sound selfish on this one, is go in with no expectations. Go in with not expecting either negative or positive, and try to be down the middle, like before the scales sway left or right. And if you can do that, maybe you can appreciate what they were trying to do and then see where the BS is. It's Smith. So.
Again, that's the thing. You say all of these things. This is what I'm doing. I'm like, oh, well, play devil's advocate, do this, do that. And then I'm like, yeah, but it's also Kevin Smith, and he could have Kevin Smithed it.
Yeah.
Like it's very difficult.
But it's also the voice cast too. Like I saw the animation, and then we have the voice cast, and I'm like, oh my god, like the voice cast looks pristine. And
a voice cast, right? Absolutely brilliant. I mean, Lena Headey, even for the small bit that we heard her in that new trailer, I thought she did a great job. I really like it. I think she's really, really good.
I really do. I love the voice cast in this. But I'm so hoping that they do it. It's almost like we're hyper vigilant. If we see something that could potentially be, be woke, and you kind of want to give it the benefit of the doubt. It's kind of like, Lucy, who keeps pulling the football away from Charlie Brown. It's like you kind of don't want that to happen, and it's sad, especially if you've grown up watching He-Man. And then when I first heard about Kevin Smith doing it, I got really excited about it. I'm like, okay, I want to see it. And then you hear kind of these rumblings going on, so I really think it's going to be a case of, and I hate to say it, but I'm going to say it, kind of like wait and see. Now when that first episode comes out, and if it looks woke as hell, okay, then we were all right. Yeah, and I know some people are saying they're not watching it directly. I know I did see something about, who was it that got race swapped?
King Grayskull, the ancient King Grayskull. I'm pretty certain it was King Grayskull. Let me have a look.
So I saw something about that, and I'm kind of just like, why? I'm one of those where if you're gonna do it, just do it. Don't make a big deal about it. Just show it on the screen, because to me that tells me that if you have to put that out there, it's all
So
about checking a box.
yeah, so King Grayskull was so there's basically July 3rd. What was this? Dark Horse's Masters of the Universe Revelation prequel comic book series, which recently leaked online. In the leaked panel, it is revealed that in this continuity, so this is the prequel comic to the series anyway, King Grayskull, the historical ruler of Eternia, whose power fuels Prince Adam's transformation into He-Man, is now a black man. Shortly after this news broke, it was shared to the shared wall of the private Facebook He-Man and She-Ra fan group, Shadow Weaver's Realm, whereupon it was met with disappointment by a black member of the group who stated, I prefer making new, unique black characters than race swapping originally white characters. Perfectly, that's a fair point.
Yeah.
Instead of wearing your own shirt, you're getting a hand-me-down shirt from someone else.
Right.
Added someone else. And again, that's a perfectly reasonable statement to make as well. So basically someone, the director of it then came on, the director of the comic anyway, came on and explained why it was the race swapping occurred, and says, I hear you, and that will indeed be a part of our story too, but a big hurdle when you're introducing a new character to a line of so many well-established characters is that they are bound to be outsiders and harder to accept as canon, at least for a while. Nobody gives a shit about Sir Laser-Lot. And then he says, we asked ourselves early on about the need for giant white blonde dudes in the pantheon of Master of the Universe, and honestly, it makes both characters less special in their iconography. Wrong. I wish I could take credit for being the one with the idea to make King Grayskull black, because now in the history of all the champions of Grayskull, a black man has a role of prominence, as opposed to just being the guy with the clamp, a reference to Clamp Champ, the only black character to receive an action figure in the original toy line. And then turning to Andra, same thing with Andra. She was initially created as a new character, but it was my idea to dig into the lore and raise up a character who had a small appearance but a strong following. People have been wanting to see Teela and Andra fight side by side for a while, as opposed to creating a new character that could easily be rejected. I mean, that does a disservice. Look, I mean, how insulting to black people is that? The fact that they literally go, "Hey, guys, that if we introduce a new character that's black, it's going to be rejected because we the creators behind this can't make it cool enough. So what we're going to do is just swap someone else out and then make you accept it." I mean, what the hell is that about?
That is disgusting. And yes, now that's racist. Yeah, it really is. Because especially as someone who's been a fan, I knew kids of all races, especially like a lot of black kids who loved watching He-Man. No one was upset that He-Man was blonde with blue eyes. No one cared about that. So what you're presuming is presuming to think that you know what black people want to see on screen. It's like we want to see good characters, especially those of us who've grown up watching the show. We want to see stuff that's true to the show, not, you want to go and race swap someone to make yourself feel good and say, look, see what we're doing. This is diversity, right? You should be happy with this, right? It's like, no, you did the same crap that you did with Batwoman. And don't get me started on that because I'll start spitting and cursing with that. But yeah, this is what Mixed Blood is saying. That argument is basically saying that the new non-white characters can't be as good or interesting as the white ones. Now that's racist. Not only is it racist, but it shows they're freaking lazy. You don't want to put the work in to actually create an original character.
I've just been corrected as well. That was the director of Netflix's content or something like that said that. Sorry, the article that I picked up wasn't very clear.
Oh, okay.
Who had actually said that.
boggling my mind is how do we get Kevin Smith and Clerks 2 to this? And Clerks 2 had some pretty weird and dark stuff. And then
Well,
we
but
got
this is what comedians do. Comedians
He's a
have been
comedian?
made famous. Well, I'm not saying. I mean,
oh sorry.
he's supposed to be funny, isn't he? He writes funny
Yeah.
movies, right? He makes funny movies. So you could basically say he's a comedian in that respect.
Mm.
But that's what you find, especially in Britain, the UK. Every comedian that was the most vilest of the vile, but they were hilarious with it, right? They did the most controversial stuff ever.
Little Britain.
Have just sucked up to the narrative of you can't say that now, that's racist, or now that's sexist, or now that's transphobic. You can't say that.
Can I mention
They become the arbiters of comedy. So you actually see this a lot. And Kevin Smith, I guess you could say, was been popularized by making stuff which is quite crass. So
Yeah, it's just, well, Kevin Smith pretty much wants to play the Hollywood game. He really does. I mean, it's like I get it. You want to be, in the circle and do all of that. But I know someone had said something about, I guess, Kevin Smith had lied about being a fan of. Lied about being a He-Man fan. That's kind of messed up.
It was just dumb as well, because the video's still out there where he says it and stuff like that. So it's not good.
Internet is forever. We're still gonna catch that. His excessive use of weed has messed up with his emotions. I think he wanted to get this made and played the game in order to have it made. But again, like I said, it's kind of like a wait and see. So when it comes out, if it's spewing a bunch of woke nonsense, it'll tank. It'll tank on its own.
Well, it will, because I mean, who's this made for if you're going to change everything? Like, no one that liked the original He-Man is going to sit there and be happy, with a complete character change as the primary focus and the primary point of view character. If you're gonna crap all over the main character, the clues in the name, He-Man, you're gonna do all of that. The original fans are gonna go, no, this is garbage, piss off. Like, they're just gonna instantly reject it. But it won't be a surprise. This is what I keep saying to people, like, because I had someone ask me about the trailer for The Green Knight, right, which is an old it's an Arthurian poem, legend, myth about the Green Knight. And the movie that's coming out, the lead is played by an Indian, a British Indian, Dev Patel. I don't know which is PC. I don't exactly know where he's from exactly, but whatever. You get my drift. You get my point. Right. And people are like, well, are you annoyed about that? Like, what do you think? Because you're British, so you're an Anglophile. You Anglo-Saxon sort of thing. And my response to that is, like, I'm not surprised. Like, I expect this all the time with anything that's coming out now, and you should always expect it, because it happens all the time with everything. We see it all the time, and constantly, persistently, people are always like, oh, the outrage. It's like, why are you surprised? Like, it's all the time. Why are you surprised by this? You should never be surprised anymore. You should genuinely expect it. It happens all the time. Don't be surprised. Like, again, you're doing your own intelligence a disservice by being surprised. You can be annoyed, but don't be surprised. You should expect this all the time. And my only complaint with that is just that, if you're going to do it, at least get a bloody good actor. Dev Patel's not that good of an actor.
I'm waiting for Optimus Prime to come out identified as a female toaster being chased by Lando Calrissian from Solo. That's what I'm waiting for.
Oh, dear.
This is a giant bottle of WD-40. Come here, Optimus. I got something for you.
Oh, yeah, Prismatics. God, I hope it doesn't go the Netflix She-Ra route. Wow. That was just no.
If you want something actually pretty cool, I don't know if you're a Gundam fan, but I watched it this morning. It was the first part of the series Hathaway, and it was great. I didn't even feel like it was an hour or whatever long. And if you're a Gundam fan, it's really well done. It's Netflix as well, so it kind of can fill that void.
Oh, okay. I've shut that out.
I'm looking at this. He looks like he looks more feminine than Tatooine Luke from New Hope. It doesn't look like he's even Prince Adam at a point. He looks like he's always about to cry. He looks like he's about to cry.
Yeah. Well, but I will say this. I think that that's intentional to show such a stark contrast between Prince Adam and He-Man. I don't see that as a massive issue, to be fair.
No, I'm just nitpicking. I'm
How
sorry.
many generations does it take to go? Not as many as you think. Probably around 3. It's like I said, I could buy it, but it's just like they just bring it. It's not like they just went and just did it. Did it and just left it at that and just left it to your imagination. Like, oh, okay, that dude looks like he's been drinking soy.
It's all that keto.
But it's they're doing it, and again, where they're saying the reason why they're doing it. Basically, too many blonde-haired, blue-eyed white guys in the film. So okay, so it's great. So you're going to insult your fans at the same time. It's just not a good look. Yeah, this is the clip where I guess I don't know if it was from Twitter. Where the one guy was saying, yeah, unique Black characters. And that's pretty much been the refrain from a lot of people, especially from people like Young Ripper, who's been saying the same thing. It's like we either want new characters or there's plenty of existing characters out there.
It was the same principle with the new Superman, right? They're literally just going, right, Kal-El, we're going to make Kal-El the original Superman. We're just going to make him black. Yeah. Whereas you already have Calvin Ellis. There's a few black Supermen in the DC world. Like Calvin Ellis would have been an interesting character. Like you can make him popular, like he's a good character. So make a film about him and then make him popular. And that's what people seem to be so afraid of. Like they just, but also as well, like, as part of, and I hate to say it, but it is the truth. It is predominantly because of the Black communities in America, because that's the market that they're appealing to here when they swap characters out. It's the acceptance of that and the ability to go, yeah, that's fine. Like that's also part of the problem. Like you can't sit there and go, we're just going to swap this character out because reasons. Yeah, we love that. That's great. Epic. Love. No worries, mate. But then also complain that there's no, Black characters whilst you're just only accepting swapped out ones. It's like, no, you should be, rallying for new people, new characters, new stories, new things. Not even new things, like just using the ones which are already there. Yeah, but the acceptance of that is just nonsense. Like people shouldn't be happy with that.
They shouldn't.
And it always baffles me. But that statement actually applies to everyone. Like everyone that is pandered to and things just are swapped over regardless. Like no character should just have their gender changed because what is popular currently to appeal to a certain subsection of society at that point in time. That subsection of society, no matter whatever it is, no one should be happy with that because they should have the logical thought process to see it for what it is, which is just they're just milking you like a cash cow. They just want your money.
I think because it's been, and it is sad, I think it's because people have been conditioned.
100%.
To accept that, because even especially with a lot of like these Black superheroes and everything, people will come back and say, no, I've been reading this comic for years, and Superman wasn't Black. We have I didn't know about Calvin Ellis because I don't really read DC comics.
Of course,
so I didn't. But I'm just
Calvin Ellis is an interesting character.
That would have worked. I would have said, okay, all right, yeah, that makes sense. There's something for him to exist.
Yeah, you get a trailer, right, for a Black Superman film, and he gets called Calvin Ellis in it. You are probably going to go, well, who's Calvin Ellis then? And you're going to go online, you're going to have a Google, you're going to have a look around, you're going to go, oh, this is Calvin Ellis. Why did I not know about this person before? And then if the trailer's good, you're probably going to want to go and look at his backstory a little bit more. It's so I don't get it. So
I
strange.
have a
I
serious
don't
question though, and it comes from the Luther aspect. Do you think King Grayskull had enough black friends and ate enough jerk chicken to make him a viable swap in general? For going down the road of stupidity at the point by now, because everyone
Oh,
remembers that, right?
yeah. Well, it's where do you go with it? You know, how
Yeah.
what is acceptable with all of that nowadays? Ah, God knows.
Uh,
Andy McCallum says, "Why can't more streamers be as level-headed and objective as you guys? I'm fed up with these fake outrage grifters." Well, I can't speak for them, but I know for me, and I'm not going to speak for everyone else on the panel because that's kind of like not what I do.
Don't assume
You
my
have
thoughts,
to.
thank you.
Yes, I'm not gonna
Don't
assume
assume my
what you're
grift.
thinking. I don't have the power to read minds yet. Yeah, trying to get that superpower. Um, I know for me, I like to remember the things that I like about certain properties and about certain fandoms because it's very easy to just be pissed off and angry, which is why I stopped watching Batwoman because after one episode I just know I couldn't stand it. I mean there's streamers kind of like from all over, but I know just for me I like to remember the things that I like and
Mm,
not everything that's out there is always going to be presumed to be woke garbage. I like to kind of wait and see. And then if it turns out to be woke garbage, yeah, then I'm gonna tear it each way from
oh my
Sunday.
god.
But we try to have fun because fandom used to be fun. Even
mm,
when you would talk trash about a property and get into
Mhm.
nerd arguments with your friends. At the end, it's like we like what
Is
we
anyone
like.
else upset? Are you guys upset though? They haven't mentioned Chung Li once.
Oh God.
Where's Chung Li in all this? She's a strong female character. Why isn't she in this? She could save everything. She don't
She
need no
doesn't have a
magic.
good enough
She can
agent.
just use those thighs in a rapid motion and beat up
jeez.
Skeletor. Problem solved. Let's go. Back to Denny's.
She doesn't have a good enough agent.
She's not even- oh my god.
Bring Steele back with a better actor than
Uh,
Shaq.
no, we need what is it? Shit, was it Kazam? The boombox genie? We need that one to come back.
Oh my God.
The
Well,
rap.
Steele's about to make has already made an appearance in Superman and Lois, and
Yes,
and,
that's what
and
I heard.
that's good. That's it's good. It's really really good.
I'm
I really like Superman and Lois. It's
I'm
fantastic.
scared how good it is. I keep waiting for it to descend into, go to hell in a rocket. But
I
it's
Yeah,
still good. I'm shocked.
I know it's my weekly pick me up. I like watching that.
Mhm.
Weekly, always guaranteed a positive review weekly. That show, I love it. It's so
I
great.
haven't watched any of it. I'm saving it because everyone's been saying good things, so I'm waiting for the teeter. But I've been saving it. I'm right
No,
now redoing Babylon
you
5.
need to enjoy it whilst the thing is nothing will take it away if it's good for 2 seasons and then it goes to garbage, right? Nothing's
Yeah.
going to take those two good seasons away. You might as well just watch it and enjoy it. And then if
Yeah,
it does go garbage, then just switch
But
it off.
but
yeah.
I'm on season 5 of Babylon 5 right now. Okay, and I love Babylon 5 before Crusade, and I'm enjoying just going through old '90s television before TNT touched it, and it's fantastic.
Well,
That is it.
I would definitely say I would say watch it because I was pleasantly surprised
Mm,
from the beginning and it did not, go south. The characters are very, authentic. It's really interesting seeing Lois go from like this big city reporter to now she's like
yeah,
Mhm.
basically,
and
yeah.
unemployed and in this like podunk town,
But still
but
being
it's
sassy, still
yes,
being
still
strong.
being her. They're just like, oh, this is Lois Lane, and she's in this, this small town where she's basically like, I used to live in the city, now I live here. This is my town now, and the
Mm,
same tenacity that she used at the Daily Planet, she's now using in Smallville, and it's just amazing to see. They have one kid who's he's got issues, he's, has like emotional issues, they all do teen
mm.
stupid stuff, you know. Oh, and it's relatable, and it's a shame that it's just like, wow, television actually used to be that good. It's a shame that you have to find that one on the CW of all things. That
Yeah, I know.
I, I,
Well,
I'm sorry.
no, I was going to say it's because HBO is more involved with that show. That's why.
I had a side question. It's not Superman and Lois, but Mr. H, you've seen Nobody, right? With Saul Goodman.
Yes,
Fantastic, right?
so good,
Isn't it? Just the
so
bus
good,
scene. The bus scene in general is one of my favets, and
absolutely fantastic.
I love that movie. And
Well,
it's
no,
what
just when he's in the house, like, give me back that kitty cat pussy.
Christopher Lloyd with a shotgun,
God.
for God's sakes, man. Where we're going, we don't need
So good,
pistols.
so
Dude.
good. It's
Oh my
fantastic.
gosh, yeah, I swear this show, the time like flies by.
It does.
It flies, which is good and bad at the same time. But we gotta have you back again, Mr. H, if you're.
Yeah, no, I'll be happy to. Absolutely.
Oh, great, great. Well, folks, please do subscribe to Mr. H Reviews. I will have his social media links in the description. I couldn't before when I was setting it up because I was on my phone. So I will put the details in the description. So please do subscribe to him. And why don't you go ahead and tell the folks what you have coming up so they can check it out.
Oh well, what have I got coming up now? It's Tuesday today, so Wednesday, tomorrow I'll be doing my normal sort of Loki reviews and things like that. I stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is 9 p.m. GMT. I'm supposed to be getting a screener of Black Widow at some point soon, so I'll be reviewing
Oh.
that.
I'm
I mean,
sorry.
just doing all my normal stuff. Really. What?
I said I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, I've not heard good things, but still, I still do the reviews of it all. Like it is what it is. So yeah, I'll just be doing my normal reviews, news and things like that. I try to get good stories, some obscure ones like. I'm following the Predator lawsuit currently, which is happening, which no one else seems to be following. But that's pretty important stuff because Disney is literally being sued.
Yeah, I've been
Yeah.
watching that with rapt attention because I do not want Disney getting their hands on Predator.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
well, yeah, exactly. Well, they've got it currently, but it's also how it will shape and change copyright moving forwards. Again, if Disney does it, and it's Disney which changed public domain timings before. So, yeah, so all of that stuff, basically, my usual things.
And apparently Friday is hashtag dress gown Friday on Mr. H's live
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
That is where I'm moving.
It's become a thing.
Cool.
I wanted to add one quick thing though, and we talked to you all know who Chuck Dixon is. We talked to him long ago, and he's like the creator, right? But he falls in the same category that a lot of us do. They don't like the new stuff that's coming up. They find a lot of it garbage. It's no longer about quality and stuff. And if you can find the gems, like we're talking about, like the Tomorrow War, or even Nobody, or even little things like Lois and Clark, Superman and Lois, those gems. I actually cherish them, especially now that I have to watch them since everyone's yelled at me. I'll give it a shot, and I thank you for coming, Mr. H.
No, absolutely.
I love your
Thanks
accent.
for having me.
I love your accent.
Cheers.
I'll be the first one to send panties, so don't worry.
Yeah. When we get a PO box now, then sorry.
Come on, they're the size of
see, now you're gonna get people's hopes up. Guess what? I heard Mr. H has a PO box now. Holy crap!
Panties only box.
Well, folks, thank you so much for joining us. I'm so glad to be back. So glad Mr. H was here to kick off the coming back here. Definitely, please do like this video, share this video out. Please subscribe to everyone on the panel if you haven't. And with that, folks, we will see you next time. Bye.
Adios.